Stewie2k has finally made his return to Tier 1 CS, and it might not be as you expected. If you haven't heard already, Stewie is subbing for Hooksy on G2 for IEM Dallas this year, and so far he's played a handful of games, and I want to cover one of the games that he played versus Vitality on Anubis, and kind of see how he's playing, even though he's going to be definitely uncomfortable subbing on a team like this, and we'll get right into that right after a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a site where you can trade skins that you already have to get some skins that you might want. That way you can hop into your next game with some fresh new skins. All you have to do is log into the site through Steam, put in the skins that you don't want anymore, grab the skins that you do, and then click trade. Trades happen almost immediately, and any balance that you don't use in the trade will roll over for a trade that you might do in the future. Right now you can get a free $5 if you were to use code Austin on the site, and if you were to use my code you would get an additional 5% on top of the 30% deposit bonus. So let's say if you deposit $100, that means you would get $135 if you use my code to deposit. So make sure you guys check out SkinsMonkey, and let's get right back into the video. So here we are, Stewie2k is back in business. He's obviously subbing for Hooksy during IEM Dallas this year, and it is exciting to see him on a roster with such talented individuals, being as he used to be one of those players that you would look out for to get highlights when he was playing. But these days, of course, we are just going to be seeing him play sort of, you know, very uncomfortable. He's playing a lot of positions, especially a lot of maps that he's not very familiar with. And I think that that's going to be very apparent the more we go into this game and the farther we go along. Now, this is just pistol round, and you guys know I don't really enjoy watching pistol, so we won't waste any time and we'll go on to the next round. Now, the demo viewer has gotten a couple of updates since the last time that I've done a review, so if I mispressed something, I apologize ahead of time. Now, I have watched this game 3 times now, once on my stream. I've been co-streaming the entire event. By the way, if you ever want to check out a stream, twitch.tv/AustinCS_, link will be in the description. And then once in the demo viewer that I normally watch before doing the demo reviews, and now this will make my 3rd time, and I actually have a couple of things I want to talk about. And one of the biggest things that I think is worth mentioning is that Stewie is playing pretty uncomfortable, and I think this is to be expected, but given the fact that he hasn't played a ton of Anubis officials, and since Anubis is the newest map in the map pool, it doesn't really seem that surprising to see this. I mean, the angles that he's playing are not very standard. I mean, jump spotting, backing, you know, forth to the front of default and then to the left of default. These things are very floaty, and a lot of people who are anchoring the B site you won't actually see do this. For example, the person that he's replaying, Hooksy, will play angles such as this one right here. By the way, this is a new one that I really don't like. My cursor is on the screen. That's hopefully going to get fixed soon. Valve, please fix. But he'll play this angle that I've covered on my shorts channel where he has a pretty strong advantage. That way, if he needs to drop his smoke over to Nico, he can quickly turn over and drop it and then go back to this angle. But again, you're seeing that it just seems to me like he's very unsure of the positions that he's playing. Now, this is a full eco that got out of hand, and I actually was talking to Vu about this while we were watching it live, and I do believe that this was a save. Of course, Stewie steps out. He's going to find 1 kill on the Glock here, but he will end up going down, and we go on to the next round. Now, this is not going to be a montage or a demo review of me just questioning all the things that he's doing, because there's actually still a lot that you can learn. Now, a lot of you guys might have a familiar experience to what Stewie is probably going through right now, which is being put in an environment that, well, you're not really used to playing in. So let's say you're a level 7 and you randomly find yourself in a level 10 pug, or let's say you're Stewie2k and you randomly come out of retirement into Tier 1. What you're going to want to do in both of those situations is find a way to elevate your teammates who are more comfortable in the environment. Now, that's not to say that Stewie is a bad player. Of course, he's one of the greatest players of all time. But when you're in an environment, like I said, that you're not as comfortable as you're used to being in, it's important to help the people around you. For example, boosting Monacy here. A lot of people probably think that this is like, oh, whatever, that's an obvious play. But the point is that he's making the most out of this situation, right? He doesn't want to take the duel. He's not feeling very comfortable. He even said that he was feeling nervous after today's win versus Mouse. He said he was feeling nervous playing around these players. And to be honest, you're kind of seeing that a lot in the gameplay, but here we go. You're going to go into this post plant here. Of course, there's really nothing they can do but save. Stewie's going to find 1 onto Spinks here, get the AK, and try to take it away to save. I think actually successfully will do so this round. Okay, so this is another round here that I thought was pretty interesting. He's actually going to start mid with Nico, and they're going to just kind of play a little setup here. Not a lot of crazy things going on. I think it's interesting to note that he has been shifted off of the B site for this round to use the saved AK. They want him to feel comfortable. Of course, G2 is trying to help Stewie get into positions where he can take aim duels because, well, it's easier if you set Stewie up in, you know, a game like this. So, of course, the pop flash comes in. Stewie gets full blinded. He gets stuck here. Now, he has shot a few bullets. They just killed a gun that wasn't an AK, so they are aware that Stewie is still close. And so Flame is going to do his best to try to sniff him out here. Nade's going to miss, distract Stewie a little bit. There's not a lot to really analyze here, but again, you're just seeing some Stewie2k gameplay. He's going to go ahead and save this AK here. He finds one on the guy coming T-spawn. So again, there's really not like the most high level CS that you can expect here, but we are looking at Stewie2k's return to tier 1, even if it's just as a stand-in. Now he does of course know the instant smokes. He has been playing every day. Actually, I've been playing with him quite a bit in some pugs recently. So he does know his util. He is up to date, but I think a lot of it just comes down to his confidence. It might be a little shook. It might be, you know, that first game he came back, he had the, you know, the Dust 2 game where he had 2 kills in just a map before this one, by the way. Now I considered doing the Dust 2 game, I'm not gonna lie, but I didn't really want to go into my first ever Dust 2 review watching Stewie get 2 kills. Plus, it's gonna be really hard to make a video where I feel like I'm not just being mean to him, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to highlight that performance. So here's another thing though. It's obvious that Stewie is uncomfortable in situations, and this is to be expected, so I'm not going to overstate this throughout the rest of the video, but you can very clearly see this here. This is a very familiar situation if you're a B player, where the T's have cut off the mid-rotate or because they've split A. When this happens, it's obvious that Stewie understands that Spinks can be here. He knows he can be here. But what would normally happen from a player is they would come and check an angle here, and then they would maybe try to flash out and come out. That's more standard, and Stewie throws a flash off the wall here, doesn't really get the job done, and he's going to end up going down to Spinks. This is a very micro detail, but again, it just shows you that he's not as comfortable. I'm not going to keep harping on that. I think you guys understand. Let's keep going. So what do you really want to see from Stewie in this game? You want to see those confidence plays. You want to see him going in, getting flashed in. You want to see him and Nico back to back going for some good stuff. So that's what they do this round. I think this was a fantastic idea from Nico to call. They're going to flash into mid here. So Nico and Stewie, dream team from 2017. They both peek mid, get a nice 5v3. It's clean. So, you know, after a round like this happens, we've talked about this before. What is going to happen from the T side? Well, they're going to say that they just push mid. Okay, because they push mid as 3, so they saw 2 plus they saw Mono C flash, so that's 3, right? What do they know? They know there's 1B and 1A, right? Because they know Nexa threw this, and they know that Hunter threw delay smoke somewhere. I'm not sure where. They threw delay util somewhere. So what they want to do now is, ideally as a T, you want to go after a weakness. Maybe in a perfect world, they 3v1 Hunter, maybe they get him clean, and now they have a 3v4 post plan. Not pretty, but it is best case, right? After they've already lost 2 people in the opening engagement. Except in this instance, what's going to happen is the CTs know that we just showed that there was 3 here. So they obviously want to go stack those sites before the T's can take advantage of the solo players on site. Then Vitality takes this idea of the CT is going to play those sites to bolster the defenses, and they actually just walk through mid. Giga Chad. So this was a really good round from Stewie, but an even better call from whoever called it on Vitality. I can only assume Apex. They're going to walk through mid here, catch the perfect gap. You might be curious, in the tier 1 scene, how could they leave such a big gap? Well, it's because, again, if you're G2 and you just put so much heavy pressure in mid and then immediately left, you're not going to expect the rest of them to group up and walk mid. You just don't expect it. You would never expect it. I know that this might seem like a common play or it makes sense. It doesn't from the G2's perspective. Vitality make the correct play here. They walk through mid. They're going to catch the timing on the boys on A site, which is going to leave our boy Stewie in a retake, 3 versus 3. Now, the problem is that this round has gone so well for Vitality that Zaiwu, I think it is able to sneak through A main and catches Stewie completely off guard. This is a really good round from Stewie. A really good round from G2, but it's just an even better round from Vitality. This is a perfect pro round from both teams. G2 just got outplayed. That's not much else to say. We go on to another round here. Now this game is going to be pretty short because I actually G2 kind of got destroyed in this game, but there is still some more things to talk about. So we're going to move on to, you know, they call the timeout. They're trying to reassess what they need to do. So again, what has worked? Even going into last round, whenever Stewie's playing more confident, like he pushes mid, he gets those kills. Or well, actually, I think that's the only round he's gotten kills so far. He's only got 5. So, you know, you want to see some aggression. And I think that that's what they're thinking about here. Look, Stewie's getting close to B main, maybe getting ready to flash here. Hunter throws that molly, gets a flash thrown, and he's going to get nade stacked. Okay, very unlucky for Stewie. I really do like the idea here. I really do. Of course, like I said, they're sending Stewie because Stewie wants to play aggro. He goes in, he gets his damage, maybe he gets a kill, he gets away, that's great. If not, then it's 4v4 with our normal core, right? That's the ideal that you want to do for G2. I'm going to be honest with you. I really like this play from Stewie. I'm surprised that Vitality had the perfect way of dealing with it by nade stacking, mollying, and spamming. That's kind of insane. I've played a lot of Anubis. This setup to counter the B main, I can't lie, I've never seen it. So just another really good round from the boys at Vitality. Unlucky. They're gonna close out the round. We go on. So again, it's a map like Anubis that I feel like is a really bad map for G2 to end up on with Stewie, because there's not a lot of things that he can do on CT side. He can't really play standard because we already showed you that he's feeling very uncomfortable and he's still doing these same things. These aren't necessarily bad plays objectively. It's just things that somebody, like, he's going to move and get timing to, or he's going to, you know, miss a duel. So I might seem like I'm overstating that he's uncomfortable, but he really is. I mean, this molly thrown to B main, it isn't a Molotov that gets thrown off. Like, actually, this Molotov never gets thrown. I'm just going to be honest. I'm trying not to just like go in and say what he's doing is bad, because who am I to say, right? But as somebody who watches the game actively every day at the highest level, competes at a somewhat high level, this Molotov that Stewie threw is not good. It just isn't. Because exactly what happens. You can peek on top of the molly. You're not actually stopping anything. They have no real reason to believe that a B hit could be coming in. And especially to throw your Molotov as you're rotating seems a little weird. Because, well, I don't know. You're throwing a bad Molotov that's going to bait the peek. Granted, Stewie does get the kill. So maybe he had planned for it ahead of time. Maybe that's what he came up with. You know, he's trying to problem solve in real time. Maybe this is what he came up with. And it works. It's not reliable. Like, this is like a 10% of the time it works. I'm very surprised. But gets the kill and he's able to move off into mid. Now, of course, G2 is going to do this thing where this is a CT concept on Anubis. After, you know, you get some B main pressure, some A main pressure. You let them retake these areas, right? Retake it B main, retake A main, and then you group up as all of your A players, your B rotate, and you clear mid, right? Very good concept. And the reason they're doing this is because Vitality took mid at the beginning of the round, right? And they left Apex here. This is standard stuff because Apex is going to lurk. They're going to go take control of an area and then they can split. Super easy. They could throw a lot of pressure. Apex catches a rotate. Things get kind of weird. And the CTs have a pretty good understanding of this concept, so a lot of times you'll see this. Another map that they do this on is actually Ancient, where you'll leave somebody at B, and you'll have 2 players come from Donut and 2 players come from House to clear mid after the T's take it. So this is a very normal round. Stewie groups up with his team, and of course they're just going to walk up. They're going to look for Apex. Actually, I think Stewie gets this kill. No, he gets it stolen from Monacy. And of course, off the back of spotting the lurker, there's probably no need to be in mid anymore. So they're going to split up, go their separate ways, 2 to a site. It's a 2v2 whichever way. I think util gets thrown, so Stewie's already in position. Throws a flash that delays them coming out. And he's just making sure, you know, to cover all the bases. And I think the round just kind of goes from there. All right, so fantastic round. G2 is looking good. Nico as an IGL is not actually bad. People have been pointing their finger at him, saying he looks rough. I mean, of course he looks rough. He's not a normal IGL, but I mean, it's looking good overall. Now, this is different. So I did just say that the molly that Stewie threw was bad, but in this case, it's actually not. Because with this lurk smoke up by the T's, there's a very important thing that you need to understand. My cursor going off my monitor is what you need to understand. It's got to be the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen. What happens with this lurk smoke is you can lurk up behind it, of course, and get flashed through the smoke. You can come through pizza. You can come through on this other side. And by Stewie mollying behind it, you actually deny the possibility of a T to lurk and use their smoke. Granted, with the molly nerf, it's only for 5 seconds, but conceptually, this is very solid. I like this play from Stewie. They only have 2B. You want to stop this aggressive lurk from coming through and, you know, just show some presence. Now, I could be wrong, but I think that Vitality actually missed the smoke because it's not supposed to leave a gap on this side because then it's just too easy for them to hold. I'm pretty certain that it missed. I could be wrong and this could be a new meta. I'm not thinking that it is though. All right, so we continue and we wait and pretty much the round goes on at A and it's just that's the end. I think Stewie dies here to Spinks and I think Spinks saves, or maybe he does die. Yeah, he does. And yeah, so lurk smoke was thrown. This is a setup that G2 like to run with Hooksy. Hunter spots the B main lurk smoke. Hooksy would normally spot an E-box. Pretty standard crossfire. They have utility delay. You can smoke B main after. You can also, I think Hunter has a molly still. I think that's Hunter, right? Yes, Hunter still has a molly. So if they start executing, Hunter can molly in front. He can molly pizza to make it so that they can't swing out and shoot Stewie from pizza. A lot of concepts here. Nothing too crazy though. We're waiting, holding. Mid split comes in. The B main smoke comes out just like I said. Rotates to mid, and Stewie gets left alone in a 1 versus 2. It's not looking great. It's really hard to criticize clutches, and this is one of those. Vitality does a good job at making it unwinnable. Once he gets spotted, the nade gets dunked on him, and they make an effort to double peek here, and there it is. That's just as good as it's going to get. Stewie gets 1, immediately traded. Well played from Vitality. Overall, solid round from Stu. There's only so much you can do. All right, so we go in here, and we have another round. He's jiggling on this left side. Now, again, I would like to state, I'm not saying that I think this is bad, but I don't know what the plan is, right? I don't know what the plan is. You jiggle with the molly, you spot somebody, and then what? You can't molly. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Again, this Molotov gets thrown off of a timing of them taking a main. Not sure. Kind of just a little bit of a waste, in my opinion, because what's going to happen now is, because he doesn't have a molly to delay, since he didn't use his molly to gain any space or to deny any like timing, when the hit comes in, he's just going to be missing his molly. Like, they just took a main, you know, they could be creeping E-box. Like, this will be the time where Hunter and Stewie, who am I to backseat, but this would be a perfect time for them to push B main or to get back into E-box and cycle their mollies, peek and see what's going on here. You know, a lot of ideas here, but they're both kind of playing static. And when they play too static, it's very easy for Vitality to bait nades out of them, or in this case, unprompted, get nades out of them, and then they NB late, right? They have all the pieces that they need. Even in a 4v5, it almost would favor them if they go B here, and I think that that's what Apex realizes. So they start shifting in. Stewie picks pizza as a spot. I don't hate it. I really don't, but the problem with this is that if you don't have anyone in E-box, the fight from pizza to E-box is exceptionally hard. Now, Stewie is a very mechanically talented player. He can easily win that fight. Very, very unlucky here. So I'm actually going to put it in slow motion so you can see. So Zywoo's going to peek him. He steps up the stair and he falls down. So it actually throws Stewie's crosshair placement off. One of the more unfortunate things I've seen happen so far this event. So we'll play it out here. Stewie gets unblind. Zywoo's going to peek him and he's going to fall off the step because he misses his movement. Actually throws off Stewie's crosshair placement, and somehow Zywoo hits a falling one tap. Very unlucky round. I'm going to be honest. Very, very unlucky. But again, it comes back to this, like, this position. It's all right. You know, he's in a setup with Hunter. Hunter's making it work. They got the rotates coming in. It's not bad. It's just, it could be better, I feel like. I feel like there's a lot more potential. Maybe this is also a gap of Nico being IGLing and Stewie being inexperienced on Anubis. It seems like some stuff should be going on here. It feels like we should be pushing B main. It feels like we should be pushing E-box. And I think that that's kind of where we're coming at, you know, to look at a review like this. It just seems to me like they just aren't comfortable. That's all. They're still obviously insane players, and when Hooksy returns, everything will be business as usual. But there's not much else to really look at in this demo. Stewie's going to go for an A main aggression here. Nexa's flashing for him. And in this instance, Stewie peeks A main, and Mezzi's just going to take him out from that angle. That's Stewie's half. Not a lot else to analyze here for CT side. We move on to T side. There's not a lot of rounds on T side either, but we'll get it going. Of course, we have the pistol round. This is the round where they did a mid rush and they're wrapping in here. Now, Stewie's coming in through heaven. I actually think they win this pistol, and I think Stewie hits a gush that gets finished off on the camera guy here. And yep, hold on. Nope, maybe not. Yeah, again, this is just pistol round. I normally skip pistol rounds in most of my demo reviews because there's not a lot to look at. And again, if there's not a lot to look at here, we'll just fast forward through it in case you want to see. Gets a couple of gushes, assists, and the round is over. 1 kill at the end there. All right, so now we're going to get him on a Mac 10. He's going to have to come up E-box. Now, there is a strat that me and my team stole from G2 with Hooksy, of course. And the strat is exactly this. It's a B exec with a lurk smoke up, and you know, they have one guy come E-box, he's gonna molly. This is the strat that we stole, but in this instance, something goes wrong, which is that at the exact timing that the hit is supposed to come in, and if you saw on the radar, they actually push B main with the pistols, which throws off the timing. So now Stewie's E-box molly is not relevant, because by the time the exec does come in, E-box will be open. So he checks, he throws all the utility he's supposed to, the hit gets delayed, they have to deal with the immediate issue that's coming around here. So Stewie resets, he waits for them to come up, they're getting one deed, so now it's Stewie and Monoseed. This, of course, is no fault of Stewie. This is a really good time push on the set strat that, you know, from Vitality. It's a good push on the set strat G2 is trying to run, and it leaves us in a weird situation. Again, this is another example of Stewie being a little unfamiliar with the angles. Again, if you watch a lot of my my content, you might have seen this off angle that I covered a few months back. It's very insane. Stewie, of course, did not check it. Goes down to a nice headshot from Spinks. And despite Monoseed's best efforts this game, he just can't get him over the finish line. So we go on to another round here, and we're going to see a Deeg purchased up from Young Stu. Going to go for a fight here. Again, this is what you're going to see throughout the rest of this event. They're not eliminated as of the time I'm recording this. And when they played Mouse, you'll see that Stewie is playing his best when he plays confident, because that's how he used to play when he was actively competing. So I want to see him do more of that, because I just think that he has nothing to lose. If he underperforms or dies doing something silly, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because that's how they're going to need to get... I mean, he can't just run around and peek every round. You understand what I'm saying? But I feel like that's how you're going to get the most out of this squad. Not much you can do about that. Double peek is just death. Well, going on to another round here. Running out of rounds. Actually, we're pretty much done here. So full Glocks. We're going to run through mid. We go down. Final round, actually, already. Would you believe that? What a quick demo review. So this is a crazy strat from G2. Everybody knows about this one if you watch a lot, which is boosting players up. So let me look at Hunter's POV. Oh, wrong player. Let's see. Is it 7? Yep. You're going to boost a player up. The idea is you can see somebody house, and you can also see somebody on the back of the door. And if anybody's on the left side, you can see them, right? And because of that, the boosted player can either see somebody spamming the smoke and kill them, or they won't see anyone. And if they don't see anyone, then two people can walk through the smoke. And if somebody's playing door, like as I was doing, they can trade him out. That's exactly the idea. That is 100% one of the better strats on this map. So Zai was going to get spotted here. Stewie steps out, doesn't need to trade. Okay, perfect. We've got the advantage that we needed. Now here we go. Stewie's going to throw the flash into Palace. Gonna miss. Blinds Nico. Probably not too happy about that. Nico says, we're sending it. Smokes the camera molly. Stewie's right behind him. Here we go. Nico gets the entry. Looking great. I mean, it's perfect. They know that there's one more A main. We've talked about nameplating a million times on my channel. You understand why they know that there's somebody there. Stewie hits a nice shot, and the round is, well, it's theirs. So Vitality forced to save. We go on to the actual final round. I'm sorry, I forgot about that one. Here we go. So Stewie's going to throw the E-box smoke. Obviously, again, E-box smoke is the deep one that you can lurk with. And Nico decides that he wants to run it back. They walk through with the boost just like the round before. Zaiwu's going to kill Monoseed on the boost. Nico will trade. And now Stewie takes this path in towards door and does not check behind it. He will go down and the rest of the squad will follow suit. So that's going to be the first game from Stewie. Now, I did choose this game even though it wasn't technically his first game, because the other ones, he did not perform. Like, I'm just going to be honest. I didn't want to cover them because I did not want to put too much of like a, oh man, he just kind of went missing. Like, I don't want that. He kind of had a pretty average performance here. I'd say maybe a little below average because not as familiar with Anubis, but this is a really good game to look at. You can see Stewie still doing a lot of things that you can learn from. And I'm still excited. I could have covered the mouse game. I still might. Stewie had a really good game on Ancient, and he's definitely powering up, getting more comfortable as the event goes on. It makes me very happy to see. I've obviously been a big fan of Stewie pretty much my entire career, given the fact that I am from America. Of course, I have to like the players from NA. And I'm just excited to see him competing. I hope that he can continue on. I hope he doesn't have a couple more performances like he did on Dust 2. Yeah, that would be very unfortunate. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm very happy. If you enjoyed the demo review, make sure you guys leave a sub on the channel. This is going to be, you know, different from my other reviews because there's not that much to break down. It's just a game that we're just looking at for fun. But if you did enjoy it, make sure you sub, leave a like, and appreciate you guys if you watched this far. That's it from me, though. I'm out. Bye-bye. Peace.